What up, guys? So I'm back here, early Sunday morning vlog, and I tried to squeeze in this vlog right now. So I was really gonna make a vlog, but because I've got work within the next few minutes, it's really closing in right now. I've got to sort of make this video quick, but I'll make it still the same length as the other videos because I'm on a training, and even though I'll start work soon, I don't want to rush and make a shitty video for you guys. So I want to talk about in this video, I want to talk about pets. So pets, of course, are animals that we keep. So it could be cats, could be dogs, the universal ones. And there's other sort of exotic animals like snakes, fishes, spiders, all sorts of amphibians, and even larger mammals as well. So sometimes there are people that keep sort of mules. I don't know if you lot see mules, but it's the crossbreed of horses and donkeys. Looks like a very small horse in a sense. And people have domesticated these animals over a long period of time. And I don't really know when the whole term of pets came around, but seeing as, of course, animals have been around longer than humans or around the same time frame or whatnot, people always had a connection and a relationship between these animals. Now, in the early days, so around the Stone Age times, time before there was any sort of technology or any sort of advancements for human civilizations, where there were literally tribal people living all around the world. Around those times, when people went out to hunt with their spear or bow and arrow or anything else they used, they would use other animals to catch the animals that they're looking to catch. And I think that way around, they started to basically domesticate these animals and use, for example, horses to get from A to B, and then that became the vehicle at that time. So animals worked alongside with humans, and the smarter ones that were seen as either useful for carrying heavy loads, like donkeys were used to carry loads from A to B as well. And when it comes to smelling out senses and security wise, the number one choice at that time would have been dogs. Now, dogs, of course, live in packs as well, so they're wild dogs. And I've been to Africa and I've actually seen, I was only used to the sort of domesticated, sort of relaxed dogs here, civilized dogs, if I may say. I was just used to them over here in the West, seeing them around, but I've never actually seen a wild dog. It's the first time I've seen it. It's actually in Turkey or Africa. And they are very different to the normal, dogs that we see here, the normal pets. They're very sort of aggressive. They're more sort of kill sort of instinct is still within them. And it's just wild to see like how they've been domesticated over the centuries. And when you take the first dog, for example, that was caught out, it wasn't just one, I get it, it was several of them in different locations. And they weren't actually the dogs that we call pets today. So we've got, for example, a German Shepherd, we've got a Bulldog, we've got a Chihuahua, we've got a Greyhound, we've got several types of dogs, like loads of dogs. And these dogs actually have evolved due to breeding. People actually made them the way they want them to be today. So the characters that they have today have been specifically picked out for, from their genetics with another genetic, and then they've been combined. And sometimes, those sort of breeding sessions and stuff don't really work out because it sometimes produces a dog with too much, difficulty in terms of their motion and their well-being, their health-wise. There's too much negatives rather than positives, and then they just end up breeding. So that's dogs anyways. And cats, cats have also been bred. There's feral cats, there's wild cats, and they also live in the, the deserty places. They've got sort of the lion sort of instinct, but in a much less, you know, not volume, but less sort of aggression to it. So when I was young, I always wanted a cat. And I remember when I was around 12 years old, I was very close of getting a cat. I even went to the pet store here in Leicester. I went with my parents and we were just walking around and, just seeing, at first I wanted a hamster, I think, or a gerbil or whatever it's called. I wanted one of those small rodents. I just wanted something about, something back then for me was like cute to have a, caged up animal in my room and I can just sort of feed it, just watch it run around. I could play around with it. It just gives, a child a little bit of excitement and love to it, you're caring for another small thing. It's sort of the same way as people had Tamagotchis back in my day. People used to play with those, small gadgets where you feed a character, or I can't remember what it was, you feed something on there, you tell it to go sleep, you're sort of like the parent to it, and you feel a bit of responsibility, like it's like a little project that's going on for you. So anyways, I was walking around the pet store and, I had my eyes on the hamsters and then the cat, and unfortunately I never ended up getting any of them. At that time, at 12 years old, I was, not inconsiderate, but I couldn't think as in rather adult, rational sense where maybe there's people with allergy at home. Maybe, I'm not the one that's going to be buying all the foods, taking care of it, this is that. I want the fun side of it. That's all I was seeing. And with my parents, they weren't really agreeing. And we walked out the pet store without any pets, so just us three. So anyways, the other end of pets where, people see the wild people, like they say, what, you've got a snake? What? No way. You got a, not a viper, some people actually might have viper, but oh, you got anaconda, a small one. Or, you got a, whatever it is. So these people that have snakes, the cats, tarantulas, frogs, they're seen as like elite type of, pet owners. Like, even today, if I see someone that comes across, the street and we become friends, for example, and then I go to the house, I see all sorts of amphibians jumping around. You see? I don't even like insects on me. What makes you think I'm going to have amphibians around me and stuff? Alright? But yeah. So, those people that have those sort of pets, it just still makes me think, like, how do they feed it? Like, I know they just might open the thing, throw in a bit of food, little seeds, whatever they eat. But then, as a, when you have a pet, as a pet owner, there should be a love between you and the animal that you have. And you can never really tame or domesticate one of those sort of animals, like spiders. Spider won't really know you, you know what I mean? Like, it can look at you maybe. I don't know how it works. But anyways, when it comes to, nowadays here, there's sort of a unspoken known, like a stereotype with, white people here that have dogs. They always walk their dogs at around 6 in the morning and 6 in the evening. And, at nighttime when they sleep as well. Because they're so close with their pets, they actually let them sleep in the same bed, let them lick their faces, let them play around with their kids. And some of them have several pets at the same time. So I don't know what it is, but I think it's generational. Like, their parents and that family themselves had several pets, and it just becomes part of them. That's why I see when people say, oh, my dog died, or this is that has happened, they get really emotional. Like, it's as if like somebody in their family has died, so they don't really just see it as, a pet for security reasons. They just become so, emotionally attached, and they grow with each other. And that's beautiful. But personally, I can never have a dog sleeping in the same bed as me, or a cat. I'll be real with you. Like, as I'm sleeping here, I want to move my legs. Like, and if I hear like something else that's just breathing, it's gonna be fucking weird, you know, in the darkness as well. It makes it worse. And when it comes to, you know, having a companionship as well, that's a big reason why people have like several cats. There's an association of old ladies like that are widows or single that have like several cats. Like it also accompanies you, like you have something to do, you feel a bit more life in the house. And I do get that 100%. And people that usually like pets, like in the sense as several cats or dogs, I feel like they don't trust me. They might not trust people as much, and they're actually soft-hearted, and they want to connect with something else that's not going to turn on them. You know, these animals don't really turn on us because they show more love and are usually more loyal than humans. So I get that as well. And it's just universal, you know, like having pets. Every nation in the world has pets. Where I come from in Somalia, though, they've got pets as well, but they don't have that bond that they do here in the West. You know, like they feed them here and there, and they don't really like play with them too much and stuff because, you know, the whole culture is different. Like the cat or dog, I think it's very rare, but it could be. Wherever it is, it wanders outside and then it comes back in the night time. Like I've seen it. And when it comes back, they've already got the small place where they eat or whatnot. They eat scraps here and there, so it's not really a tight bond, but they still have their pets. So yeah, it's universal, and certain new, you know, animals or species are becoming, you know, introduced into our pet world, and more people are growing that bond and connection now, and it's beautiful to see. But maybe someday, I think I'll actually get a cat. I still want it, like, if I move out of my parents' house now and become independent one day, I think I might get a cat. But I'll make that video one day, me and my cat. We're both going to be saying, subscribe, like, and share. But that's it for today, guys. I'm going to be wrapping this up and, you know, clocking into work. So take care, enjoy your day, and peace and blessings.